Hello everyone, thanks for joining me on this random car review. So today I'm reviewing the Ford Ka, which is a fantastic car that came out around the late 90s, early 2000s, and back then it was actually a concept car. So this is a concept bubble car where they had a philosophy of reducing everything in the car down to its bare essentials, and then making the chassis as small as possible and putting a decent size engine in it. So what you end up with is this is the 1.3 injection Ford Ka Style from 2008. Now this is the Style, which means it comes with the metallic painted bumpers front and back, because the old one came with plastic ones, which isn't so desirable, and it also comes with a bumper lip. But being a Ford and being cheap, they didn't go out and give it alloy wheels, which seems to be a bit of a missed opportunity in a car that doesn't actually look that bad. This is the Style, so it comes with a little black thing here and also your spoiler. I don't know, it's not the worst looking car ever. And when I tell you the price and a little bit more about it, you might come to agree with me. So the car was £850 with 12 months MOT and 48,000 miles on the clock. Nothing mechanically wrong with it. Actually, I might be stretching the truth there a little bit, because unfortunately the engines in these are rock solid and they are reliable, but they don't come without their issues. This one, for instance, the engine will not fire up first time on cold starts. Why is this? I've been speaking to a mechanic, and it's apparently well known for these. On a cold start, the piston rings can embed themselves inside the piston. So the piston rings are supposed to expand and cause a seal as the piston moves up and down, but sometimes they don't expand and they can squish themselves inside of the piston, meaning there's not a good enough seal and you can't get compression, which means the engine won't fire up. Fortunately for me, that's just a problem when you first turn the key when it's cold. You could just turn the key off, second turn of the key, engine fires up straight away. This is a common problem. So if you come across a Ka where the engine doesn't fire up straight away, don't worry, it's not necessarily a write-off. Just take the key off and turn it again. If it fires up second time, then there you go. You've probably got this cold start issue that I've got. Now, I haven't had this car in the winter yet. Problem might become much more apparent in the winter. So why is it I'm doing a review of this car? Well, it's absolutely fantastic. This car is low to the ground. This car is small, and it is fantastic to handle around small corners, tight right-handers, junctions, anything. This is the ultimate city car. And with a 1.3 injection in it, the car will happily get itself to 110 miles an hour without missing a beat. So it's not a particularly slow car either. And it's fairly efficient. With it being a 1.3 and the car being around about 1,000 kilos, I think, it doesn't have to try that hard. So it works out this car's good both on the city and both in the city and on a motorway. So it's kind of got everything going for it. And like I said, its design philosophy was to simplify, reduce, and make everything, cheaper. So you can see that when you get inside, this was quite cool back in the day, actually. You know, this little bubble concept car that they were coming out with. When you get inside, you can see there isn't that much noise dampening here. You can see part of the chassis basically through the car. So you only get dampening here, and then you've got this, you can see the chassis, but I like that. That's nice. So the car's going to fire up straight away now, because I've just driven here only a few hours ago. So the engine's not ice cold. So I'm not going to have any engine startup issues. But if you have got an engine startup issue, don't you worry. Like I say, it's just probably a piston ring issue, and you can just turn the key off and turn it on again, and it'll probably spark up second time or third time. It doesn't necessarily mean engine death for these cars. Now, the Ford Ka Style, like this one, doesn't have air conditioning. That'll be the Ford Ka Style Climate. But it does come with, and I don't just say these words lightly, right? Because I'm into my sound systems. The stereo in this car is decent. Officially decent. It's officially decent. The speakers in it sound good. So yeah, this car's filthy. I don't clean it up much. It's got random stuff all over the floor. But that's what these cars are great for. You buy it, it gets you from A to B. It handles great. It burns minimal fuel. It's easy to maintain, cheap to repair, and it drives great. Steering on these, this is one of the best features of the car. The steering on these is heavy. It's heavy steering for a small car, which gives you loads of feel. Now, the car isn't perfect, okay? So I am about 6'2", and yes, I can fit in this car. Is it comfortable? Hell no. If you sit in this car for any decent length of time, I've just driven to Europe and back in this, you will be extremely uncomfortable if you're anywhere near as tall as me. Why? Well, it's hard to see here, but this is kind of where I want the wheel, here, but actually the wheel's here. Everything's off center for me, so I'm looking straight forward now. This is where I should be, but the wheel is actually down here. It's to the right. It's like to the right and down. So really not comfortable. My whole driving position is actually angled towards this right pillar. And then you've got this whole center console part here, which is great for holding change, but not so great if you've got massive long legs like me and you want to stick your leg over here somewhere to rest it. No, afraid not. You do not get that space. Space is a luxury. Space is a premium in something like this. For £850, to be honest, I don't care. Look at this. It's just a nice feature. It's a clock in the center of the car. It's great. Yeah, I'm rambling now. I'll just show you around. You've got a glove box, which is great for storing your sat nav in. My passport's supposed to be in there. Oh, there it is. I hadn't lost that then. And then you've got this little top storage bit here. But that's about it for this car. I can't think of anything else to say, really. It's a great engine, and it's not slow as well. It's not a slow car. Someone was driving one of these once up a hill, packed full of people, and I was trailing behind in a 1.4 Kia petrol, which isn't a particularly quick car, but this thing totally took off up the hill, and it was full of people, and I couldn't match it. It's got great torque, and the engine's got great characteristics for driving. Really good torque, but unfortunately it's not particularly powerful engine. There's no point ever taking the revs up high. Not that you'll ever know what the revs are at, because unfortunately this particular one doesn't come with a revometer. Like I say, it's all about the philosophy of reducing, simplifying, and making everything cheaper and simpler, which is what we like actually when we drive this car. It handles like a beast. It really does. It takes corners like nothing else of this price and of this category. So if you're looking for a cheap, affordable, reliable car that handles like shit off a shovel when you go around corners, then look no further than a Ford Ka. They will surprise you. Not particularly prestigious, yes. You're not going to look great pulling up at the Ballroom or the Ritz in this car, but actually these are becoming less and less common. There aren't that many on the roads, so it's becoming more of one of these iconic late 90s, early 2000 hatchbacks. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about this. What I'll do is I'll just pop the bonnet, because there are plenty of petrol heads that will probably, I don't know, like looking at engine bits. There really is nothing surprising. How do I get the bonnet up in this? Ah, it's actually underneath the steering wheel. I'm getting strong smells of unburnt petrol right now, but that's probably to be expected, seeing as the engine hasn't got up to temperature yet. They're not particularly efficient, but they're certainly not inefficient. Where are you? Alright, so that's what we're looking at. And as you can see, this is a 4-cylinder engine. Bear that in mind, okay? 3-cylinder engines are naturally unbalanced. naturally unreliable. They cannot pull with the same amount of torque as a 4-cylinder. Modern 3-cylinders are fantastic and they do have a lot of torque and their characteristics are great. But like I say, you know, I mean, do you want to spend 850 or do you want to spend 8,500? Okay, so 4 cylinders here, and that's what you want really. When you buy a small car, my friend who's a mechanic, he always says you never go for 3 cylinders. I disagree with him. Nothing wrong with 3 cylinders. It's got its own applications. They're small and light and easy to fit into any chassis. But 4 cylinders cannot. You cannot take away what a 4-cylinder is. It's a tried and tested, fantastic way of laying an engine out and producing that power and torque. So yeah, if you can get yourself a small car with the same sort of characteristics as this, and it's got 4 cylinders and it's got the same similar power to rate ratio, then yeah, excellent. If you can find that for 850 quid, go ahead. If not, then look no further than the Ford Ka Style. There you go, guys. Before I go, I'll rev the engine, because who doesn't like listening to a idiot revving their stupid car on the street? All right, that's enough of being totally stupid. Do you know what? It actually sounds okay. It doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound terrible. It doesn't sound pathetic. And when you drive it, it doesn't sound pathetic either. Bearing in mind that the size of this car is utterly minute. It's tiny. When I walk up to it, I'm basically, you know, I'm looking down on this car. Look at it. It's tiny compared to me. I have to crawl into it. Huge doors. Make it easy to crawl into the back, which isn't a particularly roomy space. And if you're really unlucky, you may find an old sock on the back of it like that. Jesus, this is embarrassingly messy. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this, another feature. This is a Ford Ka feature. Look, you pop the belt in that. Keeps it out the way. Look at that. Keeps the belt out the way. So then you can pop the seats forward easier. You see that? Just little things, you know, just little things. And I've always approved of these sort of Sidewinder windows. They're great. You just pop them open and you can leave them open. And when it rains, it doesn't particularly drench the car. You could leave it open in the rain. You end up with, with a slightly wet seat, but it doesn't flood in. It's one of those sort of things you can forget about. So that's officially everything. I've shown you the clock. That was the main feature of the car, I think. Thank you for watching, everyone. Remember, if you're looking for a small, reliable car that can pull and that can handle and that can get the job done and doesn't cost the earth to fuel, look no further than a Ford Ka. Particularly the style climate. And if you've got the spare cash, why not get the Sport? Because it's a 1.6, which obviously I wish I had, but there you go. Cost limitations and whatnot. All right, that's the end of my review. Thank you for watching, everyone. Goodbye, guten Tag, and good luck with your car searching, buying, and browsing. See you now. Bye-bye.